Record. Okay, I'm
Yep.
good.
Okay. Five, four, three, two, one. And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. And man, Matt, I tell you, I've been having a week, not even a week, just like the last 2 days have been like the last 2 days from hell. We're recording the show late. We're recording it on Monday. We couldn't do it at our regular time because I had a family emergency, and it's just been downhill from there.
And you can tell it's been downhill by the headphones Joel is wearing.
Yes, I thought color coordinating would help me feel better, but it hasn't. No, no. What happened was in here, I can actually show you my Yeti microphone that I've used forever. The headphone jack has finally gone in it, which I think is like the last thing to go in it. The on-off switch also broke off a couple years ago, which hasn't been a problem for me because it's only ever on. Why would I ever turn it off?
Yeah. It's one of the many reasons why I didn't buy a Yeti and went with something a bit more that I was familiar with, a bit more studio friendly.
Right. Well, this lasted me 5 years, and you know, a fan was really nice enough to send me like a proper, like professional quality condenser mic, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to set it up because it's like, oh, this is so powerful and so professional. You need like an amp condenser to go with it. You just can't plug it into like a USB. So I'm at the point now where it's like either I learn to master that and spend the money to buy that, or buy a new Yeti. I'm probably gonna set up the actual proper condenser mic is what I'm gonna end up doing. But I
It
just
it'll sound amazing when you do though.
I'm sure it will. Again, I got lots of good service out of this. I can't say I didn't get my money's worth out of this one, but man, that's just problem one. Again, this is I didn't think I was going to be able to do the show today because there's been a massive power outage in my area. Something like 10,000 people, well, the whole town, it's a small town, had no power for like 8 hours today because there was like a major transformer fire.
Oh no.
hmm Which, goddamn, credit where credit is due to the old people who live in my building. I'm the youngest person who lives here by like 4 decades. How did they take having no power and maybe not being able to eat, not being able to see because, they're slightly vision impaired? You know what they did?
What do they do?
They went to the lobby where there's natural light through the big windows and they all got drunk, these old people. They got wine and beer and they got fucking shit-faced
Uh
all Monday night long. And I'm like, you guys give me hope. You guys are living the dream.
I hope one day I could do that. Getting
They're
day
like,
drunk.
getting day drunk. They're like, well, no technology, no one gonna call us on the phone, nothing to do. Hey, let's go to the lobby and get drunk.
At least we know what will happen during the end of the world. Oh, the power's going out. The internet is down. Oh, all the old people are getting drunk.
hmm And again, like there's terrible light in the condo that I'm in, so I'm like, okay, I'll open all the windows. Yeah, the sun's not actually on my side of the building, so that's not doing much. But from the hours of like 6 to 8, I got like an actual physical comic book, which I haven't read in a bit because it's all digital, and I sat by the window and read Long
Ooh.
Halloween because why not? Luckily, it came back, just in time for my sync to back up on me. So that's something fun I'm gonna have to deal with when we're done this.
Excellent.
But how was your week, man?
Wasn't as bad as yours. I didn't have any backed up syncs or power outages. I actually managed to catch up on some TV shows I've been
Oh,
meaning to
that's
watch. I started that really funny one on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave.
yes. I also watched a couple of. What am I on? That was the last thing I watched. I'm on episode 3, is what
Yes.
Netflix says.
It's a very funny show.
Man, is it ever this? You're not part of this turbo time. This is our turbo time. Matt, I think that needs to be our thing moving forward for the comic
Yeah.
multiverse. This is our turbo time.
Yeah, have you ever had a couple of men come into your house and use the bathroom and they replace the toilet with a fart toilet?
And what are you supposed to do with that? Also, you've been eating mud pies there? Oh, you just made a mud pie and everyone got sick. Again, watch it, everyone. It's really funny.
Yeah, and they've got great cast members as well,
Oh,
like
yeah.
proper like comedians like Steve Yoon, Andy Samberg. The two guys that made it actually made a really good show called Detroiters, which me and 9 other people watched, and which is why it got cancelled so early. But that was absolutely hilarious, and again, these are like skits that SNL would have done back in the day, but wouldn't now.
So much to the point they actually have some really great SNL
Yeah,
talent in there too, to where I'm like, man, why isn't this show like, why? Because they're too weird, is what it
yeah,
is. They're really weird. Like you'd be lucky if you got one of those in a
yeah,
standard like SNL episode, and you're like, oh, that's good.
yeah.
Now, that being said, apparently Adam Sandler hosted. I haven't watched it yet because obviously I haven't had to watch anything. I'm backed up on it. I haven't watched Doom Patrol. I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I'm backed up on everything. But apparently Sandler hosted Saturday Night Live this week, and he actually did a really good job and sang like a really heartfelt song in memoriam to Chris Farley, and everyone's like really on his side again.
Yeah, he did. It was really good, and as well, this is the first time he's actually hosted. Apparently,
Really, I thought he's hosted. Well, I know he's guested a bunch, but yeah, I could have sworn he's hosted other times.
I swear I read somewhere like on one of the posts that this is the first time he's actually hosted the show.
I know it's the first time he's hosted in a very long time. I know he was the musical guest back when
Yeah,
he was with the band Dogs, which people are like, "Whoa, Adam Sandler was in a bit." Yeah, he's really committed to music and musical comedy. You wouldn't be able to know that from his last offering of Netflix movies, but it's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey are two actors where every so often you're like, "Oh yeah, you were talented. We liked you for a reason, didn't we? Oh no. Oh, poor
Yeah.
baby."
Yeah, every once in a while you get a Sonic the Hedgehog to remind us what happened to Jim Carrey.
Man, I don't care about Sonic the Hedgehog at all, but boy, do I love the shitstorm all around the movie. Just num 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 num. This is what I live for. Num 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 num. Oh, gangster's paradise. Oh, Jim Carrey chewing every bit of scenery.
It looks amazing. It's gonna do more than what Endgame made.
Oh, without a doubt. And obviously, between that and Detective Pikachu, it's the beginning of the shared Nintendo universe that will eventually build up to the Smash Brothers movie.
Yeah, they're connecting them. That's what the directors of Sonic said they were going back to fix the CGI, but really they were trying to connect it up to Pikachu because they knew that that film would be successful.
It's the SCM, the Smash Cinematic Universe, movie universe. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be great. We're gonna see. It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that Venom shared universe.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that, Matt. I have thoughts about that actually when we get to the news. But you've mentioned Sonic, and now we just can't not talk about it. The meme I love, and I'm sure you've seen it. I thought it was funny, even though I didn't get it. And then once I got it, I thought it was even funnier. It's Jim Carrey mugging and making a stupid face and says, "Oh, I'm going to get Sonic the Hedgehog, who was actually my son, who was transformed by vaccines." And it says, and it says, like, "Oh, I don't know if I like these creative choices they made." And I'm like, that's fucking so weird and hilarious. I love that. And then I went back and read some interviews with Jim Carrey, and I'm like, oh, he like dated Jenny McCarthy for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually believes that vaccines are bad, and he's like a big celebrity, like, detractor of them. Oh no. But also, oh yes, that means even funnier now. But also, too, he's not like one of those weird, like, no, they put the mind control drugs in them anti-vax people. He's like, "No, man, I'm a hippy dippy does yoga. Vaccines are bad, man. You should only use natural essential oils to fight polio, man."
Hey, buy my art, man.
Yeah, buy my art, man. I'm like, oh, Jen, oh, no. But man, Truman Show's great, and Fun with Dick and Jane and Yes Man are surprisingly funny, and I Love You, Philip Morris should have been up for an award, shouldn't it? But yes, this thus concludes the Jim Carrey portion of the show. Everyone, be sure to come back next week when we talk about why he's actually a much better supervillain in Cable Guy than he was in Batman. Yeah, he's legit scary in Cable Guy.
He is. He really is.
Like, again, I think so many people like that's a movie that found a second life on cable, even though it got terrible reviews in the theaters because critics didn't understand why this funny man was being so terrifying and why it was so dark, because it's a dark comedy.
Yeah. It was. People didn't understand it at the time. They didn't know what a dark comedy was in time where like Adam Sandler was big.
Again, like that movie and Dodgeball, I think, are like two of the modern comedies where it's like, oh, these actually really found second lives on television.
Yeah.
And then Vince Vaughn went to the asshole jail to never be released.
And now he's making movies with Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Oh, well, you see, Mel Gibson is also in the asshole jail. They filmed the movie in the jail, so that's the best part about it.
We joke about that, but I actually saw their new movie, and it's actually pretty good.
Dragged Across Concrete. Yeah, it's from the same guy who did like Rumble and Cell, whatever, and Bone
Bone
Tomahawk.
Tomahawk. Yeah.
Which he's one of those guys where everyone keeps saying, "Oh, he's going to be revealed to be a milkshake duck, isn't he? Love him now because it's coming any day now. Any day, is it coming yet?" I actually watched two Vince Vaughn things this week. I watched Dodgeball, and also I watched that Fighting with My Family movie from Stephen Merchant because I was actually invested in that story.
I watched that as well. Like, I didn't realize it was based on a true story. I just thought it was just like a wrestling film. But
Nope.
I watched it as just like someone who's not interested in wrestling, and I thought it was pretty good.
It is good. I would say if you like that, also check out the documentary, which is also called Fighting with My Family, because it's actually a lot more hard edge
Oh,
than the
okay.
documentaries. Because like The Rock and WWE put money into the movie, so
Mhm.
they're like, "Ooh, let's sand off all these harsh edges here and all these things that you say that actually might be a little controversial." Because there's moments in the actual documentary where it's like, "Oh, this is showing a real dark side here to the wrestling business."
Oh, interesting. I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
It's free on YouTube. You can find it free
Oh,
on YouTube.
nice. Excellent.
It's super free and you can find it there. But yeah, comics, everyone. We promise that's what the show's about sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but only sometimes. I'm actually glad, Matt, that we waited an extra day to do the show because our first story involves the Spider-Man trailer, and it feels like this always happens. We're ready to do a show, then Monday morning comes
Yeah.
around and fucks us because we don't get to talk about it.
Yeah. Now we actually do. We actually get to talk about it on time for once.
We actually do, and man, I like the little caveat that came with this, which was Tom Holland just being like, "Okay, everyone, we're gonna show you the final trailer for Homecoming, but keep in mind you have to have seen Endgame first, or else it's gonna be spoiled." And I'm like, "Ooh, are we at this point now in comic book movies where we need to do that? We're like at the comic start where it's like, oh, don't read this before you read issue."
Yes, it was exactly like that. Don't read Far From Home until you've read Endgame issue 6.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I love that we're at this point, but I know some people aren't gonna like that, but I like that we're at this point.
Yeah. As well, that was insurance for Tom as well because he can't ever keep his mouth shut.
No, he's apparently bad at that.
They have to have his co-stars babysit him.
Loose lips, Tom. Loose lips sink ships. Unless you want to come on the comic multiverse and talk about whatever you want, in which case that's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not gonna fight you about it. Who's an asshole on set? Really, nobody? Everybody's lovely? Seriously? But yeah, we saw the trailer and boy, they weren't kidding about, like obviously we joked before where it's like, "Oh, hey, where's the post-credit scene for Endgame?" Oh yeah, it's a whole movie. It's called Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, it's a whole two hour film. Which again, I think Kevin Feige actually painted it as the epilogue to Phase 3, and that seems exactly what it is. It seems to pick up like not long after Endgame ended, and we get introduced to Peter, who's dealing with obviously Tony Stark dying.
Yeah,
Uh,
his father figure mentor,
are other people like Happy dealing with that as well, by the looks of it.
who
Um,
also seems to have been dating May in the 5 years, so that's how they
well,
explain how that
I
happened.
don't think she is because John Watts confirmed that May was snapped.
Hmm. Hmm.
So maybe this is like the start of that.
Maybe it gives her a new lease on life. Like, oh, I got snapped out of existence. Time to date John Favreau.
And why not? He's a working man. He knows what he's
Yeah.
doing. He's in everything nowadays.
And just such a pleasant human being, too.
Yeah.
You saw how good he was with kids at the end of Endgame.
and,
What's
and he
not to
can
love?
cook because of that movie Chef.
Exactly, because they're all true, and he also can speak to animals, like in the Jungle Book.
Yes, and he's been to space because of the Mandalorian.
Exactly, he could do everything. We're saying John Favreau's a magical man, and we love him very much. But yeah, it's him dealing with the fallout and also dealing with the 5 years, which I think is a really cool place to couch this movie in, where it's like it's not just Peter dealing with it, it's everybody around the world who's dealing with it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they do like are they going to like make it so that like all his immediate classmates, so like MJ and all that, were snapped as well? Because that's what it seems to be like they all got snapped as well, which is why they're all still the same age, because if not they'd be 5 years older and
Yeah.
probably played by other people as well.
You would think so, but yeah, that's a very interesting place to take this movie and to couch it all in this idea that he had this experience as a superhero that a bunch of people around him just didn't have, and that's like totally changed his perspective on life and the universe.
Yeah, yeah, and in this trailer, like he just wants to forget about it for once and just go on vacation with his friends.
Which that's never going to happen when you're a superhero. I like too, like they literally vocalize in the trailer, hey, with Iron Man dead and Captain America essentially retired, waiting to assumably be replaced by Sam. The world is going to need to look to newer, younger, fresher heroes, and you're the newest, youngest, freshest hero we know.
Yeah, yeah, I like that interaction he has with the cops about with the cops asking whether he's going to replace Iron Man, and he's like, no, no, I'm busy replacing you guys at your job. Like that's
I'm
the sort of
still
stuff I like.
very quippy, very Spider-Man. Also, I'm still the friendly neighborhood
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Don't worry, this isn't going to be another cosmic space quest. Although it's still pretty big because law of sequels, you got to get bigger and bigger each time.
Yeah, and it is big because obviously Nick Fury comes to recruit Spider-Man or like try and get his help because they have some elementals, I guess is what they're called,
Yeah.
uh, in Europe, and they need his help with Quentin Beck, who apparently is from another universe.
Yeah, wow. That's a bomb drop right there to be like, hey, all you people, all you doomsayers out there who's like, oh, what could they possibly do in the next phase of Avengers? They've already done time travel. There's nothing left to do. Multiple universes,
Yeah,
multiverse.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so and I've seen a lot of people say that that's probably not going to be true because obviously Quentin Beck is an illusionist and everything,
And a liar,
but
yeah.
but as well, that's like everyone immediately snapped to that, and I think the people behind the movie knew that people would do that. So I think it's possible he is from another universe as well. Um, they're definitely going to be introducing the multiverse. Um,
It it is a cool way to also build Mysterio as a character and a threat to be like, look, he's not just a con man illusionist in a costume. He is a multi-dimensional con man
yeah,
grifter who goes from Earth to Earth.
yeah. Well, see, here's what I think. I think he is lying. But I think he's lying about being a hero from another universe. I think he's a villain,
Mhm.
and he's come over. And these elementals, if they're actually from, if those elementals are from other multiverses and stuff, they're
Right.
the good guys.
Yeah, that would be cool too. Or put like a diversion in a diversion to be like, no, 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 he is from this Earth. He's a liar, but there totally is multiverses though. He's just not from one.
Yeah, you could do that as well. Yeah, and as well, this opens the possibility up. This is how they introduced the Fantastic Four, the X Men, all of those characters. This is
Yep, they
perfect
were
for it.
they were already in a universe where they're already fully formed and exactly how you remember them and how you want them, and that's how they're gonna not, upset the apple cart that we have currently.
Yeah,
This is also a way too, if you want to be like, hey, that Spider-Verse movie did really good. That Venom movie sucked but made $1 billion. How do we work this out?
yeah, yeah.
Which actually, hey, that dovetails quite nicely with the next piece of news here, and this is a very pleasant piece of news too. Lord and Miller, of course, the guys behind the Lego movie, behind the 21 Jump Street movies, behind Last Man on Earth, and just a lot of stuff we love here at the Comic Multiverse. They have been elected to helm all of Sony's Spider-Man related projects now, as well as several other projects of their own, and I think that's amazing news.
That is very good news because I imagine uh, the guys over at Marvel Studios will want to try and work with them, and maybe this could
Yes.
be the way they do it. Because
Yeah.
as it sounds like, since they're in charge, they might not have to deal with like Avi Arad anymore, or what's her name, Amy Pascal, and all
Oh,
them.
Pascal is gone now. That was the other
Yeah,
piece of news too. She's not
yeah,
even in charge anymore. But yeah, Lord Miller, you couldn't have made a better choice, Sony. You know what? We call you on your stupid decisions, but this was a two thumbs up decision. You did the best, smartest, most obvious thing, and that was, hey, what was the one Spider-Man thing we did that people not only liked but got great critical reception and made decent money? Oh, Into the Spider-Verse? Who should we get to run everything? Maybe the guys who did Into the Spider-Verse should run everything.
I also absolutely love it as well because I guarantee you the people at Lucasfilm are like cursing themselves for letting Lord and Miller go. from Solo.
Yeah.
You know, you let these people, you hire them because of their comedic talent, you fire them because of their comedic talent,
Comedic
and
talent.
then they go over to Sony and make him like $1 billion and headline a movie that won like Oscars and stuff.
Yep. It's another thing too, talking about Lord and Miller's talent. They have a proven, basically bulletproof track record of
Yeah.
taking things that should be terrible ideas and making them like excellent, way better than they have any right to be.
Yep.
Did anyone want a reboot of the 21 Jump Street series? Of course they didn't. That's a terrible idea. It was barely good the first time, but they leaned into it and made it
Yep.
hilarious and unlocked like Channing Tatum's comedic chops on the big screen, and they did it 2 times.
Yeah, yeah, they made it meta and it worked.
The Lego movie should have been a horribly, cash in, just shameless consumerist shit show. But no, because they leaned into it and they're like, no, Lego is about creativity. And
Yeah.
that's what we'll make the movie about. And also we'll, dissect, blockbusters and like, the basic kids movie machine that a lot of this stuff is plugged into. And then again, when the sequel, we'll top ourselves by making it a movie about making things, super like dark and super like unaccessible to children. And, our movies will have messages.
Yeah, yeah. Haven't had a bad movie or TV show, to
No,
my knowledge at least.
no, they really haven't.
So I'm very interested to see what they're going to be doing with the the Spider-Man. Like, because I know they did mention a TV show, like a
They did.
SpiderVerse TV show. So I'm wondering how that will develop into like
Same.
leading into like other films and whatnot, and where that'll be and whatnot.
These guys are so good. I'm actually excited for Venom 2 now because they'll lean into how terrible Venom 1 was and be like, boy, did we whiff it in that first one,
Do
everybody.
you think they will though? Do you think
Because it
like
made $1 billion.
yeah, or do you think like Sony will have like a mandate was like, no, it's got to be more the same, or like will they even be like, is that movie so far into production they couldn't really do anything? Or
I don't know. I mean, if they're running the show now, they have a certain, commitment to quality. I imagine they'd be like, no, 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 that's not going out the door like this.
if they did, they should be halting production on fucking Mobius as well,
Yeah, oh, God, yeah.
because that's
Well,
filming right now.
they can't save everything. Sometimes you got to cut off a finger to save the hand, and maybe that finger is Morbius.
So it's like, look, we'll let it go out. We'll let Jared Leto murder a few people for the role, and then we'll in Venom 2 we'll make fun of it. It'll be great.
Yeah,
It'll be our whipping boy.
yeah, we'll just make fun of it because again, that they love that sort of thing too. I mean, look at the Lego movie. One of the best on-running jokes in that series is them constantly shitting on Green Lantern because
Yeah,
Green Lantern ruined everything
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
DC. It all went wrong there, and the fact that they can make fun of Green Lantern using actual DC characters in a Warner Brothers property,
Yeah, yeah.
while also talking massive shit about Batman through the mouth of Batman and have it be hilarious and poignant. They're going to do that with Venom. Venom is going to be making fun of how outrageous Venom is.
Which would it'd make it interesting.
Yeah,
It'd actually give something the movie was missing, which is like a backbone.
exactly. I'm sure they'll make a joke where it's like, hey, Woody Harrelson, where did your stupid wig go? I was just wearing that to mess with you. And again, you mentioned it with SpiderVerse, how Lord and Miller are cool guys, how they probably want to play more ball with Disney and Marvel. Wouldn't it be super cool if for SpiderVerse 2, okay, we see another universe now, and that Spider-Man is voiced by Tom Holland.
Yeah, yeah. You could have all that sort of stuff as well as like I'm wondering if like because as of Far From Home, that's like all of Spider-Man's like films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like there wasn't a
Mhm.
deal after that. I'm
Mm.
wondering if like they because they're in this role, they have a say in like if that deal gets extended.
I mean, if they're running the show, I'm going to say yes, and it will be very interesting because obviously Disney Marvel is going to want to do more Spider-Man
Oh
films.
yeah.
They'd be pretty stupid to not want to. And again, I love the idea that Lord and Miller are at the table. And again, I think this will lead to a lot more interesting synergy down the line, where it's like, look, okay, we'll do Venom, but we will say Venom is in an alternate universe. So that means that when we want to do our version of Eddie Brock and our version of the symbiote storyline, we can do it.
Yeah, and we don't have to have him being played by a sweaty Tom Hardy.
Yeah, we can maybe change it up, or shit, it can be Flash Thompson. We'll make it Flash Thompson now.
There you go.
We'll make it our version of Flash Thompson, because why not? Or
Well, they've already got Flash Thompson in the film.
They do.
So, yeah.
I know some people don't like him, but I know you and I are actually very in favor of this kid and their version of the high school bully, because it's like, look, for cinema, for the screen, the letter jacket wearing, wedgie giving, shoving you in lockers bully is super trite and super cliche. I like the modern version of it where it's like, oh, Flash Thompson is a nerd just like Peter. He's in all of his same clubs and social circles. The only difference is he's just a dick to him all the time for no reason.
Yeah, he's like the 2000s version of a jock, which is a rich kid.
Yeah, I'm just a spoiled rich kid who is in all the same clubs as you, and I will talk shit about you on Facebook.
Mm. Yeah.
He does that. His social media feed sucks.
Yeah, he's got his secret pages.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got multiple burner accounts, Flash Thompson. He's got his secret Insta so his parents don't see it. Fucking Flash Thompson. He actually looks like he's gonna have a beefed up role in the movie too, because they brought in this idea that he, much like comic Flash Thompson, is a huge fan of Spider-Man while simultaneously hating Peter Parker.
Yeah. I like what they've done with him, and I'm intrigued to see what all of his classmates' role in this new film was, since they look like they're actually involved in the action.
Yes, much more now than ever before. Also, Zendaya Mary Jane, yeah, she just knows he's Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that might be like
a joke,
like, because she's so like straight faced and everything, and everything she says.
Right. But yeah, should be good stuff.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm not only excited for this Spider-Man movie, but I'm excited for the future of Spider-Man properties, which is something I wasn't last week.
Yeah.
So good on you, Lord Miller. Many happy returns. I wish you guys only the best.
Yeah.
Now, from the world of comic book movies to the world of comic book art, something I regret to say we don't talk about very much. We talk much more about writers, and that's unfair to all the artists out there, because obviously we have our favorites, and they do really good work, and it's easy to overlook artists, which is a shame, because they do literally 50%, sometimes more, of the work in comics.
Yeah, depending on who the actual writer is, sometimes it's the artist's job to carry the book.
Absolutely. We won't name names, but you know who we mean.
Yeah, Palm Bing and...
he's my favorite Korean novelist, Pawn King.
Yeah.
Love that guy. But yeah, so some crazy shakeups in the artist world. Patrick Gleason, who of course we absolutely love from all of his work with Peter Tomasi, a frequent collaborator, not only in the art department, but I think he gets like co-writing credits too, so that's pretty huge.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
He's going to be going over to Marvel now, and this week it was pretty huge. He's like, hey, you want to see my Avengers? This is what my Avengers looks like. And everyone's like, yo, that's fucking dope.
Yeah, and they also announced him as like the regular artist along with Ryan Ottley for The Amazing Spider-Man.
Good, because inconsistent art and like shifting art is really hurting that book.
Yeah.
It's about time they get someone more consistent. I know Spencer and Ottley were like the package deal for this, but it's like, Otley can't keep up with this, and we knew he couldn't keep up with it.
As well, I think like every couple of issues, or for the last couple of issues, it's been what's his name, Humberto Ramos, which I know a lot of people don't like.
I like his stuff, but I don't think he's a good fit for this current Spider-Man.
No, yeah.
He does do good stuff. I have liked his work, but I do not like him as it stands in this book. I also don't like all the shifting. Hunted has really been kneecapped by all the art changes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind on that. Like, I've read most of the issues, but I've still got yet to review them. But yeah, I know what you mean by like how the art changes between like the main book, then it goes into that .hu, and it changes again, and then it changes again, and yeah.
It's really... I think I'm behind too. Again, this week has just fucking sucked for me, and I think I'm behind on that too. But yeah, so that's a huge piece of news. But then, not to be outdone, DC's like, oh, now you know that David Maurqez? Well, we got him now.
Yeah, we got him, and we got him to we got him to draw a Batman Superman team up book.
Fucking okay, I'm down with that. We talked about that last week, the Josh Williamson one.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it, and then not long after we actually talked about it, it was actually officially announced, because it wasn't officially announced when we talked about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
and we got to see like art and everything, and apparently it's spinning out of the Batman Who Laughs.
interesting.
Like
Again, well,
Batman Who Laughs gets an extra issue that feeds into this.
crazy man. They are really pushing the Batman Who Laughs super hard. We'll talk about that in what we read this week because there were some interesting developments in the Free Comic Book Day book.
There were.
But yeah, I think these are a great get for each of the company. These both guys are super talented, and I can't wait to see what they do with the opposing company. I mean, here's just hoping Maurqez's wife doesn't get pregnant again, and so it doesn't postpone the book like it did Civil War 2 forever.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, remember Civil War 2?
I try not to. I try my, but that's okay. You don't have to remember because outside, completely assassinating Carol Danvers' character for years to come, nothing in it really mattered.
No, nothing did, and subsequent books rectified it almost immediately.
Boy, did they ever. Immortal Hulk, where it's like, hey, remember when Bendis brought back Doc Samson for one page and then never explained why? In comes Al Ewing, all right, let me fix this now. A little of this, little make it make sense. Cool. Was that so hard? Nick Spencer comes around for Secret Empire. Okay, all these prophecies that went nowhere. I don't have to do this, but I like continuity, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's good stuff. It seems like, both companies got great artists, and we're going to be seeing some cool books in the future.
Yeah, really looking forward to these books coming out.
I mean, I think it's only a matter of time before, they really blow our minds with some stuff. They already are, in fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, from the world of comics to the world of television, Hulu announced two rather interesting shows. I think it was technically the end of last week, but still didn't see this coming. We're going to be getting both a Ghost Rider show and a Damien Helstrum show.
Yeah, over at Hulu, interestingly, not Disney Plus. And yeah, I imagine I don't think in the announcement they said it is going to be the Ghost Rider from Agents of Shield, but they didn't.
Gabriel Luna.
I don't think they mentioned that in the release. But yeah,
no, they mentioned it later.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really interested to see where he went through that sling ring portal.
Definitely.
Yeah, and Helstrom, it's interesting, but they've changed the origins up a little bit.
They've changed a lot about Damien Helstrom, aka Son of Satan, which, for one thing, they don't spell his name Hellstorm anymore. They've all Germanified it. Hellstrom.
Yeah. And as well, he's the son of a serial killer now, which I imagine they're going to play out and be like, oh, this serial killer was the devil or something.
He was codenamed the Devil.
Yeah, something like that. Satan or something.
Also, too, they mentioned his sister, Anna. I'm like, oh, you mean Satana, as she's called in the comics?
I wonder if they can't call her that because Zatanna.
There's got to be some weird backstory. I'm like, guys, why didn't you just do it? Yeah. I'm like, don't tell me there's some weird content restrictions here where it's like, oh, all names at least have to be G-rated, because I know that's the thing for the movies, actually. Like, they wanted to call... back in the 90s, they wanted to call the South Park movie "All Hell Breaks Loose," and like, no, you can't have hell in the title. It's got all titles need to be G.
Yeah. Like, productions are weird like that when they change little things like that don't need to be changed, but they have to because there's some draconian law that says you have to.
Yeah. I mean, the way they seem to pitch this Helstrom show is it sounds like another, paranormal investigator show, a la, Supernatural or Constantine. I'm like, oh yeah, because we don't have a billion of those already.
Yeah, we don't have them just clogging the airways.
That's not a tired ass genre, man in trench coat and, magic power solving mysteries. Like, hey, didn't they have a show called Lucifer not too long ago that got canceled that was basically the same premise?
It's still going on Netflix.
Is it? I thought they canceled. Is that really keep going?
Yeah. Netflix picked it up for some reason.
Really? Holy shit. Well, I guess good on you, Netflix. I guess there's a hunger for it, and the fact that Supernatural just won't fucking end, I think, lets you know that
Supernatural's ending next year.
Is it okay? Is it actually ending?
It's actually ending. Like, it's no joke. Unless in like the 11th hour, they're like, 400 more seasons.
Well then move over, Winchesters. Make room for Helstrum. But yeah, I talked more about Helstrom just because that's like the weirder, more interesting one. It's strange that they greenlight both this and Ghost Rider around the same time because I'm like, well, don't these characters move in basically the same circles and do basically the same shit?
I was just about to say, like, I think we're going to get the Ghost Rider show first, and that's going to be a backdoor pilot for the Helstrom. Like, they're going to appear in one episode or something.
He's going to be a villain like he was in the comics because he goes back and forth between hero and villain.
Yeah, and then it's like, to follow more of this guy, if you want to, he's got his own show coming out next week or something.
Interesting. I do like the idea of the Marvel Universe going into more of a paranormal place, and also having these two kind of harder edged shows on Hulu basically makes their intentions very well known to anyone paying attention. Hey, you're gonna get R-rated Disney Marvel stuff. You're just gonna get it on Hulu, not on the app.
Yeah, and it's gonna be very, very interesting to see how that works out, like in terms of like foreign distribution, because obviously we're all gonna be getting Disney Plus, but then like over here we don't have Hulu.
Neither do we have it here.
So, and because I think like all those shows get to go to one of our streaming services, so will they go there or will they go to Netflix, or what will happen?
I guess we'll find out because once again, Hulu is one of those companies that say, hey, you dirty Canucks, hey, you awful Aussies, your money isn't good here. Get out.
Get out, you dirty people.
Get the fuck out, says Hulu. Oh, that's fan art right there. I want Hulu sitting behind a bar, washing a dirty glass. Get out. We don't serve your kind here. That's how it feels, streaming services, when you're Australian and Canadian. It's like we don't even want us here. Dicks. That's fine. We don't want to come in your stupid streaming service anyway. We'll get it elsewhere. And we do. But no, this is really cool, and also it's like, okay, so you got Ghost Rider, you got Helstrom. Yo, you get like Blade and like Moon Knight and a couple other people in there, and you basically got a fucking Midnight Sun series you could build up to.
We don't know who's going to be in those shows. Like, again, this is like perfect opportunity to backdoor all these characters, especially Blade.
Yeah. Which Blade, which is already a proven like franchise, like Blade already made money. How have you been sitting on Blade this long?
Yeah, well, Ryan Reynolds really did a number on it.
Boy, and Triple H with his little Pomeranian.
Oh God, yes.
Oh, that brings me back. Oh, memories.
I need to watch those films again.
Oh, they're wonderful. You got to watch them, and then you got to like watch Patton Oswalt tell stories about dealing with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes and David Goyer.
Who, to be fair, if I had to deal with David Goyer every day, I would also probably hold up in my trailer smoking pot and only speaking to him via sticky notes.
Yeah, I actually got really mad this morning because I learned that he's headlining the reboot of the new Hellraiser movies. I'm like, God damn it! Actually, give it to someone who actually has some vision. Give it to Guillermo del Toro. Holy shit, his Hellraiser movie would be amazing.
How has that not happened?
It would never get made because he can't make a movie to save his life. He talks about it.
Talks a big game. Oh, and if I made that movie, it would be so cool. I tell you, I'm like, yeah, I agree, Benicio. If you're gonna do it, no, I think I will go to my house that I have only for collectibles.
Yeah, but I make film about women who fuck fish.
Oh yes, and everybody love it, and I get great award. So so who's laughing now? Hey, fish fucker. The answer is Mr. Del Toro is laughing all the way to the bank. The interesting thing about this Ghost Rider show, too, is that they've changed the venue. It's still Robbie Reyes. It's still Gabriel Luna. It's still taking off from where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. left off. But he's not going to be in L.A. anymore. He's going to be on the Texas-Mexico border now.
Yeah. I have a feeling that, obviously this is going to take place after his Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. And maybe he's like on the run or something, or like,
I guess
maybe he's down there, capturing people, crossing the border. He's one of those weirdo like border patrol people now.
Oh no, Ghost Rider! He's wearing a little red hat now for some make hell great again. Oh no, yeah, I get the feeling it's like, oh, did someone watch that Mayans show and they're like, hey, let's do that, but with Ghost Rider.
Yeah, or like I just watched Sicario this weekend.
Yeah. Can we do that with Ghost Rider? He's the Latino one, yes? So let us put him in a stereotypical Latino setting. Although, I mean, I guess L.A. is also an equally, stereotypical setting for a Latino superhero. So I mean, it's probably cheaper to film in the Texas-Mexico border. So shit,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I have no idea, but it's very very interesting. I wonder if we're also going to see like other Ghost Riders. Like, is Johnny Blaze going to appear?
Carter Slade.
Because we kind of sort of got him in Agents of Shield, and
That's right. Are we going to see more of that? Because again, they've completely changed Robbie's origin.
yeah,
Where in
yeah,
the comics, he doesn't really have the spirit of vengeance. He's possessed by his evil uncle Eli Morrow, who they've already dealt with in Agents of Shield, so we can't have him back. And it's more like he was gifted the Ghost Rider power from Johnny Blaze. So
yeah,
yeah. Ooh,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
he goes to Texas because Johnny's there.
Yeah, that'd be, or like maybe that's where like another Ghost Rider is like as you said, Carter Slade or something.
Wasn't there a lady one too? What was the lady one's name?
Oh,
Alejandra, Alexia,
something
started with
like
an A.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, just fucking do all the Ghost Riders. They're all pretty cool.
yeah, just into the Ghost verse or something.
I like it. They did that. They did that for Ghost Racers for Secret Wars. They totally did that.
Yeah, yeah. Now give us the Punisher Ghost Rider. Give it to us.
Yeah. Yeah, give us the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Get Bernthal back just for that. But no, I love the idea of a Ghost Rider show. I love that it's Robbie. I love that it's Gabriel Luna. Maybe he'll start getting more love in the comics again. I say more love in the comics. He's actually like one of the forefront POV members of Aaron's Avengers, but
Yeah,
still.
he's an Avengers, and they're doing interesting stuff with him and Johnny Blaze.
They are. Again, I don't think Aaron ever read Felipe Smith's book, but there you go. Actually, hey, there's a good question. If they're making this show and they're doing the Robbie version, does Felipe Smith get some money from this? Because I know apparently we heard there that Marvel actually doesn't have a great deal worked out for their creators when it comes to royalties.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I wonder if
Like,
someone has asked him that on Twitter.
like Jim Starlin was chirping up on the internet then. It's like, I get more royalties for like the few times they reference the minor shit I did at DC than when they used Thanos in the biggest movie, like the second biggest movie of all time.
Yeah, which is it's totally fucked.
And I'm like, that's pretty unfair if that's how it's done. If
Yeah.
come on, if you're gonna do Starlin dirty, that's a little unfair.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's fucking Hollywood, unfortunately. When they make
Yeah.
the comic multiverse movie, Matt and I will make pennies on the dollar from it. They'll do that thing from Dark Knight. It's like, ooh, we only have enough to pay one of you, so break a pool cube. Guess you got to fight over it now. But from the world of television to the world of video games, some new job listings popped up online that would seek to hint that Square Enix is maybe finally moving ahead on their big Avengers game that was rumored and talked about, and then nothing ever came of it.
Oh, about bloody time.
That and also whatever Rocksteady is going to do next for Batman.
Yeah.
Remember, there was rumors flying around. It's like, ooh, it's going to be a Suicide Squad game, or oh, it's going to be something involving the Court of Owls, and then just nothing came out of it.
It's gonna be a Superman game. That every E3 I always look forward to. Every E3 I look forward to is like, oh, they're announcing the Superman game this year. It's like, no, they're not. No, they're not.
There apparently is going to be like a PlayStation Direct in a couple weeks, so we might just sound like gibbering assholes when that comes out and they announce all of it.
Hey, it'd be great if they did. That'd be amazing.
What do we want out of an Avengers game, Matt? I'm sure we've had this conversation before.
I don't know.
Let
heaps
you
of
really
ways you could really go with it.
Again, there's that canceled game they had that was going to be first person. I want it to be third person, but I like the concept of drop in, drop out teamwork. I like the idea where it's like, hey, Matt, you want to be my Iron Man? You want to hop into my game and help me out here? A la Borderlands.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like maybe the idea of just like something that's like Spider-Man, the Spider-Man game, where it's like, but like you play as different characters like through chapters or something, kind of like how like Injustice is.
Right, maybe everyone has a different play style where it's like, hey, this is the Black Widow section of the game. It's a stealth game, because of course it is.
Yeah. Here's Iron Man, which is like a run and gun shooting, and here's Thor, which is just God of War.
Yeah, which is just God of War. Here's Hulk, which is basically like Smash the Car from Street Fighter. That's not a terrible idea, but again, it's like, it would be hard for that to not feel disjointed to have to do all those games at once.
Yeah, another way you could do it is like XCOM, maybe. where you get your team,
Yeah.
you can customize them with like, but I guess that's kind of similar to like Ultimate Alliance and that sort of
A
stuff.
little bit. How about we just make another Ultimate Alliance? Oh, you are? Oh, but it's
Yeah.
only going to be for the Switch.
Ah,
Shit.
fuck.
Okay, so I'm going on to coffee right now. My newest stretch goal is get Joel a Switch by the time this game comes out, because Joel ain't buying himself a Switch.
Yeah, fun Joel and Matt switches.
Yeah, I'll put up a little money for it. I'll put up at least $200. How much are they? Like 400 or 500? I know they are one of the more affordable consoles. Look, it doesn't even have to be the red and blue one. I'll take just a boring old gray one. It's fine. Send your gently used switches to Comic Multiverse 455 Canada Street. We'll open it on the show. How do you even capture Switch footage? I know they do. I finally just figured out how to capture the footage I have now. I imagine that's a whole rigmarole.
It probably is, and I wouldn't even want to be bothered knowing Nintendo and how they are with fucking copyrights and
Mm.
bullshit like that.
Worst case scenario, Matt will host a Let's Watch of the cutscene movie of Ultimate Alliance 3. Hey, Matt, it's like we're playing. Isn't it fun? Oh, boy. I don't know why I became Mickey Mouse there, but there you go. And, oh, hey, speaking of it, and I already kind of mentioned it earlier on, but yeah, Avengers Endgame just became the #2 biggest film of all time, knocking Titanic out.
Yeah, in like a week, like over 2 weekends, it made $2 billion. Holy crap!
Which, it's funny, the only other competition they have is, ironically, another James Cameron movie in Avatar.
Yeah, yeah.
And James Cameron, of course, took to the internet to only be as salty as James
Oh yeah.
Cameron can be. He is as salty as the sea he loves so deeply.
Yeah, yeah. That man is just full of salt. That's what he
I,
gets for spending so much time in like the Titanic wreckage in his little
yeah,
fucking dinghy.
he's just absorbed it into himself. Look, and I say this with nothing but love and admiration for James Cameron as a filmmaker. Terminator, Titanic, all this other just amazing stuff. But also, yo, dog, all the flavors in the world, and you chose to be salty, and you always seem to be salty around superhero movies like an old crotchety man. You superhero movies, get off my lawn.
He
I'm going to make real movies about blue cat people.
he's upset that his Aquaman movie didn't get made, and
Uh-oh.
and that his Spider-Man movie didn't get made.
Sandman would be called Boyd, and Arnold Schwarzenegger would be Doc Ock, and everyone would have loved it.
Yeah, and the web is a euphemism for jacking off. You get it? You
Mm.
get it? There'll be whole scenes where there's web everywhere, but it's not really web.
What has James Cameron even done recently? It feels like I'm going to make that Avatar sequel.
That's
It
what
seems
he's
like
been doing for like the last 400 years.
Does anyone care about an Avatar sequel this many years later? You're literally striking when the iron is ice cold, James.
That's what I don't understand by like he's making these like who are these for? Who is telling him to? Is Rick Berman over there telling him to like make him?
Do it, James. Do
Yeah,
it.
do it, please do it. Yeah, it's so strange, and he's not just making. I could understand if it was one, but he's making like five.
Mm-hmm. It's so fucking strange. And also, too, for him to be so shitty about, this Marvel Disney project when it's like, dude, they put a giant Avatar land up in their park. If you keep talking about that, they're like, oh, look, Pandora land got swiped away in a hurricane. Oh, no.
These guys are your bosses now.
In a way, yeah, you friggin', they have a thing in your park. Apparently, people who go to the Avatar land, the world of Pandora, apparently it's just the saddest place.
It looks pretty sad.
What is it? Jenny Nicholson, she did a great bit on there. I guess she lives by the park, and that's one of the content on her channel. Is she gave like a really in-depth thing about going to the world of Pandora and being like they're very strict with the actors to be like you are here in the world of the movie. You must only talk like this is the world of the movie.
Oh no.
Also, for a movie that was all like, oh, peace and love, the environment and everything, here's non-biodegradable bags in the park.
Don't throw it into the Navi world. That the Navi will eat it and die.
Yeah, or the Navi will cry. Also, too, where it's like, no, it takes place years after the movie, right? So Navi and humans live in loving, harmonious, harmony. I'm like, really? Because at the end of the movie, they kick all of humans off Earth to die in space. That doesn't seem nice. That seems like really shitty, actually, on their part. I'm sure I've made this reference before, but there was a chintzy direct-to-DVD animated movie that came out around the same time as Avatar to try and like catch on.
capitalize on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was called Battle for Terra, and it
Yeah.
actually had some pretty decent voice actors in it. Like what is it? Jack Bauer, 24 guy, was the villain in it. He was the evil general.
Yeah.
And there's a bit in that movie where like by the halfway point it actually becomes a smarter, more thought-felt version of Avatar for like a fraction of the money. Because the villain in Avatar, is just like cartoonishly evil, where it's like, kill all these beautiful space aliens, fucking God bless America. God bless capital Jesus, who gave me the firepower to do this. And it's like, oh, that's really on the nose. Even though I agree with your message, that's really, really fucking unsubtle. Meanwhile, you get what is it, the villain in Battle for Terra, who again played really well by Jack Bauer. Why am I fucking? He's Canadian. Why am I?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland gives this really beautiful impassioned speech, like he's actually trying, where he's like, look, future generations may judge what I do to these aliens as evil, but make no mistake, without me, there will be no future generation of humans. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty good. It sounds a lot better. I haven't seen the movie. I know about it. But it sounds a lot better than Pocahontas with like space robots.
And then it gets even better because at the end of that movie, the Terrans who are like, they're like, no, we are creatures of peace. We were a warlike race, much like humanity, but we put that away. Oh, we're threatened again. Maybe we weren't so peaceful. Bring out the guns again. And I'm like, oh, they're saying so even peaceful space races can also be kind of militaristic in their own way. When challenged, nice, clever. Peace only lasts you so long. I like that. And then the big ultimate, like conclusion of the movie. I think one of the Wilsons is in it, not Owen Wilson, but the other one who plays the main soldier guy, yeah. Luke Wilson. And at the end of that movie, the Terrans are like, look, yeah, you humans actually showed us something pretty dark and horrible about ourselves, but we are so committed to peace and prosperity, even though you kind of fucked us over, and even though you tried to kill us, and even though your oxygen will kill us because we're allergic to it, we're going to build you a dome city, humanity, and you can live on our planet because we actually practice what we preach.
Cool.
And I'm like, how is this chintzy ripoff movie actually smarter and more mature than Avatar?
Because it's not as arrogant as James Cameron.
I guess because it's not as arrogant. Again, hey, so if you made Battle for Terror and you suddenly see a bunch of Amazon buys, know that it was Joel and Matt of the comic multiverse that sent them your way. God, I bet you can't even find a version. You either probably can't find a version of that movie or it's up on YouTube for free.
Yeah, or it's it's on Netflix and has never been taken off because everyone forgot about it.
I don't think it is. I think if it was, I would have tried to get more people to watch it. But yeah, if you want to see a shockingly smarter, more interesting version of Avatar than Avatar, go see that.
Yeah.
Now, believe it or not, oh no, we have one last piece of news, but I was kind of putting this one off because it's a sad piece of news. Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca, sadly passed away this week.
Yeah, he passed away a couple of days before May 4th.
That's sad.
And yeah, it was kind of sudden, I think. I know for the last couple of years he's been dealing with like health problems because of how tall he is and everything, and
legit giants
and the problems that come with that. But yeah, it's kind of sad.
Peter Mayhew is probably my favorite celebrity story that I've ever told, and that is that one time at Fan Expo, while reading through the back issues there, I got a tap on the shoulder, and I not mean like a tap on the shoulder, I mean a tap from 8 feet tall, because that's how tall he was in real life. He's like, "Excuse me, can I get by?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, buddy." And I was just like so engrossed in what I was doing, and it was only when he walked away and I saw his security force of 501st stormtroopers who like escorted him to every panel. I'm like, that was fucking Chewbacca. That was goddamn Peter Mayhew touched me on the shoulder. I have been touched by the hand of Chewbacca. Holy crap! I'm gonna tell this story forever, and I do. And man, what a nice moment that I can say I shared with this wonderful human being. And he was eulogized across the board by people who knew him. Harrison Ford, it seemed he found out late in the day about this, and he was genuinely torn up about it because obviously he had spent a ton of his younger acting years with this dude.
Yeah, his little thing there that I saw was really heartfelt, and You could tell it meant a lot to him. He'd tell Peter meant a lot to him.
I think the thing was he said, he was a beautiful man. I loved him. I hope he knew. And then Mayhew's wife came back and said he knew. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh, that just rends your heart right there. But in such a nice way to know that he was loved and everything, and
yeah.
that you'll have such this legacy. There was another thing people put up there. I don't know if it was a DVD thing or something from some collection, but it's the scene in Empire Strikes Back where they're on Hoth and Han is calling up to Chewie, and it's the scene we all know, but this was like an early take when they were just fucking around.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
instead of his lines, he's just like actually talking in his British accent because he was a British guy.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
so hilarious to see this Han Chewie relationship where he just talks like a British man. And it's just a couple lines, but it's so funny. And I'm like, oh man, what a dude.
Yeah, and it's kind of as fortunate as well. Like he got to like see the last of these films be made and
Yeah,
everything, be part of them and everything. Even though I
yeah,
don't think he was doing much at the end except for like all
yeah.
the sitting scenes and stuff. But yeah, it's cool that he got to see it all finished though.
It really is. And just, it reminds you of mortality too, where it's like, man, we lost Carrie Fisher, we lost Leia, now we've lost Chewbacca and Peter Mayhew. Man, there's going to be a lot of really sad nerds out there on the sad, sad day when Harrison and Hamill go.
Oh god. The one thing though, I hope because it's Harrison Ford, I hope he goes in like a plane crash, like he's flying his
Some
plane and crashes into the sun or something.
Something epic, something befitting Harrison Ford, I agree. He died punching out a grizzly bear in a cigar smoking
Yeah.
contest.
After he crashed his plane in the wilderness, the bear
Yep.
tried to take his cigars.
It wasn't happening though. He shot it with his gun from what is it? His Deckard gun. He shot him with, and then he whipped him with his indie whip because he's all of these things. Harrison Ford, fucking nerd icon. Harrison Ford. He's so good you forget the bad movies he made in between those.
Yeah, like Hollywood homicide.
Yeah, again, you like fucking no one remembers that. You were goddamn Han Solo and Indiana Jones for the rest of your life. And Dr. Richard Kimball and everything else. You're all these cool things, and no one can ever take that away from you. And then when you're sick of those things, you're like, kill me off so I don't have to do these anymore. And the fans still love you even after that, because like, that's all right, Harrison Ford. You don't have to do these anymore. You've been cool enough for all of us. Give that new kid a chance, whose name I've already forgotten.
uh, Jonas. I can't pronounce his last name.
Jamba Juice, yeah, that kid.
Yeah, Jumbo Juice. Yeah, he's doing really well as Chewbacca now.
Yeah, give good old Jamba Juice a chance. All right, so that's the news, everyone. That's our eulogizing of Peter Mayhew. Rest in power, Chewie, wherever you are. No planets can crush you here.
Yeah, you go to the big Wookiee heaven in the sky in the Life Day. We'll see you at Life Day.
We'll see you next Life Day when we cross the Rainbow Bridge into wherever the hell that is after putting on our red Wookiee robes. Okay, whatever. But yeah, from there we can actually talk about what we read this week. I read a lot this week, but not nearly as much as I wanted to.
Same.
Where do you want to start? Because there was actually a bunch of new number ones.
Yeah, well, let's start with some of the new number ones, and let's start with like the big DC one, which was
Right.
the DC Year of the Villain one shot special.
Right, Free Comic Book Day. I didn't make it out to Free Comic Book Day this week. That's
No.
unfortunately how fucked up my week was. But a lot of these are on sale online anywhere. They just gave them away for free online anyway, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. I bought the Year of the Villain one, and it was like 25 cents or something.
Yeah, I usually like to go out and support them. But yeah, Year of the Villain attempts the very admirable, but I think ultimately impossible task of trying to tie together three completely separate stories from their three biggest writers and be like, no, what Tom King is doing and Brian Michael Bendis and Scott Snyder are doing, they just appear to not be connected, but we promise they're actually connected by threads you didn't see until right now. Are we ever going to hear these threads brought up in the other books? Probably not, but
Yeah. So this is like the big basis of Year of the Villains, which is Lex Luthor giving all the villains everything they need to finish off their respective heroes, and
He liquidates his whole company.
Yeah, and he does that by blowing himself up.
Faking his own death while also taking over the White House too, because he's also come out as this big villainous mastermind. It was me, Austin. It was me all along.
Yeah. And I like that Brainiac also questioned him about that. Like, are you sure that this is like good idea? Like announcing yourself to the world, like it's not usually something you do.
Yeah. To which his answer is, "Shut up, Brainiac. Don't poke holes in this plan."
I ran the numbers. I took the surveys.
I took the surveys. Like, again, too, there's a line that is so wonderfully on the nose, but I like it, where like one of Luthor's little assistants is like, you know, there's no way they're ever going to see you anything as but a villain now. Because, like, up until now, he's been, like, a little conflicted where it's like, yeah, I'm on the Legion of Doom, but I'm doing it for good reasons. I think the world will actually be much better and happier once they submit to Doom. And, I've learned all this stuff about my childhood, and, maybe I don't want to go through with it, but maybe I do at the same time. And, I was on the Justice League, and I helped in Justice League No Justice. Nope, full villain now, full stop.
Yeah. Again, like, though, like, he's going to a villain because he's, like, realized that, like, right, this is what I need to do to get to like, save the world, basically.
And and Bane is totally in on the Doom thing too. Oh no, we haven't had any meetings or talk, but really in just doing what he's doing, he's supporting the cause of Doom. Yeah.
That really pissed me off. Mainly because like fuck Tom King's shit and like whatever he's building up to, because it's not going to be worth anything. They should have replaced him with fucking what's going on in Flash at the moment, with Hunter Zolomon trying to collect these forces which were introduced in No Justice. Trying to collect them and use them to, fuck everything up. That makes more sense than having Bane, fight Thomas Wayne naked,
That felt like a note. That either felt like a note where an editor's like, come on, we gotta try and tie this. Yeah, I know you guys
just put one page just up of like some art we had,
Yeah, either that or Snyder is really nice and he's like, well, I'm not gonna reference your shit in my shit, and I know that ain't gonna happen vice versa, so I'm gonna throw you a bone right now and be like, no, he's part two, but he's over there, but he's also part.
Yeah, you don't need to read it. You don't need to read it.
Yeah, but Bane can come too. And also too, then they tie in Leviathan, where it's like, oh, is Lex Luthor the biggest, scariest threat? No, because also Leviathan, but Luthor doesn't know about Leviathan, nor does he really seem to care about Leviathan.
See, well, that's because I don't think Leviathan is like a big world-ending thing, because it's only going after these organization stuff. As Luthor put in this issue when his assistant asked if he's going to murder Superman, he's past all of that stuff. That's small fish compared to what he's dealing with now, and I imagine that's what he thinks of Leviathan if he knows about it.
Right, we meet, I guess, the leader of Leviathan, or at least their prime agent. He's this weird, like squid mouth guy.
Yeah, he's got like it's like a mask or something. I'm not sure what it is.
It's red on the cover of the book, but it's black inside the book.
Yeah, and he approaches Batgirl after they've been dealing, where her and Oliver Queen have been dealing with Merlin.
Oh, can I talk about that?
Yes.
Green Arrow. Ooh, I hate the superhero community because they lied to me about this stupid bugs.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go team up with them now.
Also, the government and the powers that be chased Green Arrow out of Seattle. He had to leave and not come back, even though he's there here.
Yeah, well, when is the government telling Oliver Queen to do something ever worked?
Also, classic Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah, but I didn't read that though.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna read that.
Also, I didn't get it in my skim of his Wikipedia page. You're lucky I got that he was in Seattle. I was gonna write Star City, so
But yeah, they get attacked by whatever this creature thing is that Leviathan sends out to destroy these people. And Batgirl gets offered a place at Leviathan.
Yeah, that apparently they're recruiting heroes too, being like, yeah, we all want the same thing, and you Barbara Gordon, you're not living up to your true potential. You could be an oracle, and I'm like, wait, what is he referencing the old does Leviathan have some kind of cosmic knowledge of what the universe is before, or did Bendis just not know that that wasn't canon anymore? I believe either.
Yeah, either way will work, and either way will probably work in his favor somehow.
Yeah, that he doesn't. I mean, as we saw in his Superman, he doesn't know who's leading Spiral at the moment. He's basically writing Spiral like it was in the old universe, so who the fuck knows?
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea what's going on there, but I'm interested though because it is quite an intriguing story. This whole Leviathan thing.
Oh yeah. It's my favorite thing Bendis is writing right now. I could punch a bunch of holes in it, but it's my favorite thing.
And if anything, we're going to get some really good like tie-ins and stuff with it.
Yeah,
with, like Matt Fraction and Jimmy Olsen tie-ins and stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't happen in unusual tie-ins and stuff.
It's true. There is going to be some good stuff attached to it. And what was the third story? Oh, the third story was the Justice League saying, we can't be saving all these universes from black holes created by the destruction of the Source Wall while also fighting the Legion of Doom. We need to grow our roster. To where I'm like, but didn't
you did that? You did that.
you literally already did that at the beginning of like Justice League No Surrender. You can't keep doing that. Everyone is already part of the team. Firestorm is part of the team and gets things to do in this book. You can't grow it any more than Firestorm. Like, the only way they could grow it bigger is like, oh, we need to start letting villains into the team now. Oh, damn it, crap, it's called the Year of the Villain. Shit, we can't do that. Can we invite the Suicide Squad? Well, they were kind of like, well, you guys were fighting, but then you weren't fighting anymore, and then Killer Frost was a hero, but then you stopped calling her. Oh, can we invite the Doom Patrol? Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't really their bag, but they have a show. I mean, I guess you can invite them.
Yeah, we'll invite everyone who's already actually technically in this whole No Justice teams we made.
Yeah, can we invite the Wonder Twins, and can we invite Dog Welder and all the weird ass comedy characters from the DCU era? That's what we need. We need a team of just losers, of characters people forgot. Hey, it's Forerunner and Kid Doomsday and all these other characters. That's what I want. They're like, we need the L team. L for loser.
They need you know what they need? They need to bring back the Age of Heroes characters. The characters everyone likes. So they need the Damage. They need what was that? Oh, the Brimstone, Silencer, and the Electric Warriors, and all these people.
You know what, Matt? If like New Age of Heroes wasn't a huge failure, I bet they would have done that at this point.
Yeah. I mentioned Electric Warriors. I actually read that miniseries, and it was actually pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying there wasn't good stuff in New Age of Heroes. I think people get that when I say this, like, oh, Joel just hates everything in New Age of Heroes. No, there was good stuff there, but it was always bound to fail. It was doomed from the get-go.
Not only that, it happened at like the worst time it could happen, where all the characters it was aping off of came back at Marvel.
Yes, and we're good, and it's like, well, I don't have to read these Xeroxes then.
Yeah, I could read the real thing.
I just like the thing I like. I don't like the thing that's like the thing I like. Just let me read and like the thing I like. Words to live by. I don't know why that was the voice I chose to do that. What member of Oasis was that? What weird Gallagher brother did I become? Joel Gallagher, yes, of course. He didn't write the music or sing, he just talked about comic books. But yeah, that was a fun one, if ultimately still a confusing one, because again, I'm like, I don't buy for a fucking second all these stories are connected, even by the simplest thread. I applaud you for trying, but I know you're not going to try anymore after this. This is the bone you throw the fans.
Yeah, it's just so weird that they tried to connect all of these when they would have been fine just on their own.
This is the era of the superstar prima donna writer. And I don't mean that to Snyder as much, because he clearly plays ball with everyone else and is very nice. But again, King, Bendis, they don't give a shit about what anyone else is doing. And in return, no one really gives a shit about what they're doing.
Yeah, and as well, like, tying them all together, and it feels like they wanted to do Year of the Villains, but didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's like they came up
Like,
with the name first, and they're like, "Well, how do we get there?" I don't know.
yeah, or they came up with the idea with Lex giving the villains what they want, but it's like, well, how do we tie that in? Like, what, can we get a special out of it?
Sure, why not? And we'll charge 25 cents for it. Oh no, wait, that's perverting the idea of free comic book day. I'm okay. We'll give it away for free then. Which again, the fact that Bendis is on it and they were charging 25 cents for it makes me think, just got to make that 30 grand payment somehow, huh? I know I made this joke a couple episodes back, but I stand by it. Brian Michael Bendis coming to your local comic shop, picking up bags full of dimes like Scrooge McDuck. These are mine.
Yeah, he comes in, and if you don't have enough, he breaks your legs.
These are all mine.
He drops omnibuses on your knees.
Here's my collected X-Men. That really went off the rails halfway through. Oh, I liked it in the beginning. What happened? Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so that was Year of the Villain. It's fun, but really inconsequential. But then again, that's most free comic book day issues, isn't it?
Yeah, they're probably like consequential for like an issue, and then nothing else.
I didn't get to read the Spider-Man one that sets up Absolute Carnage, which is a shame because that actually looked to be the most important one. Nor did I read Jason Aaron's Avengers one because they basically said, no, that's not tying into anything. We just had to do an Avengers story, and this is what we chose to do.
Yeah, it's just like one shot.
It's just a one shot, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's for free. You know, not everything has to set up an event, but at the same time too, it's like, well, you want me to get out of my house, right, to go do this. I gotta go put on pants and go to my local comic shop on a day I don't normally go to my local comic shop.
Well, I mean, you could go there without pants, but I don't think they'd ask like me that. To leave. You'd be the reason why they close.
Hey, do you know who I am on the internet? That's that Cape Joel guy. Yeah, he has the no pants privilege. He gets to walk around here with no pants.
He has serious pull here.
He's got serious pull. He'll badmouth us on the internet about our pants policy. But yeah, that was Year of the Villain. It's fine. What else did we have?
We had Deceased issue 1.
We did have Deceased, the big DC zombie miniseries that definitely is not taking place in canon. And I like right off the bat, they're like, this is an Elseworlds. To which I raise my hand and go, then why does it not have an Elseworlds sticker on it or like a Black Label sticker on it? You guys have so many imprints that you're not using, and yet this ships without a sticker.
This should have been under Black Label because this is kind of the stuff that Black Label should be.
Very much.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, why does this not have a sticker? Because I think they want people to think it's in continuity. I think that's why.
You reckon? I know I got like thousands of comments, or not thousands of comments, but like loads of comments like saying, is this continuity? Is this in continuity? And it's like, no.
See, I got the opposite. I got people chewing my ass out for saying we didn't know whether or not this would be in continuity or not, and we can tell by this, and this that it's not. And like, no, we knew, you should have done research. And I'm like, well, I guess I just can't fucking win with you people sometimes.
Yeah. I had people ask what reading order do I need to read this in. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
5 and 6.
You know, the usual reading order.
But yeah, it was a fun little zombie story there. This issue is all set up, but it's really good setup.
Yeah, it's good setup. It's Darkseid has been fighting on Earth, and he ends up leaving on his own accord because apparently he's got what he wanted, and what he wanted was Cyborg, because Cyborg has part of the anti-life equation in his body, just hanging out.
Isn't it fun to see Cyborg be important? Now I feel like he's getting the post Doom Patrol rub where more writers are like, yeah, let's do something with Cyborg.
yeah. He's a MacGuffin basically in this.
He's patient zero. It's like, Doomsday is like, finally I will have the anti-life equation. Ooh, but I could do this wrong though. If I kill him, it could come out all corrupted and everything. I'm good.
Yeah. We could put the two halves together, but his system will corrupt it because it's a Linux system, and
yeah, really,
and it doesn't take these type of files.
And Darkseid's like, I didn't become Darkseid by not taking chances. Let's roll the dice. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, and the worst that could happen is Darkseid goes insane and claws off his own face, and then jumps down one of the fire pits and blows up Apocalypse.
Yep. That's the worst that could happen.
Yeah, but
And the Apocalyptians got off lucky.
yeah, and before all this actually happened, Cyborg gets sent back to Earth by Desard, who's a panicky Desard, and we learned that because he has this corrupted anti-life equation in his system, and since it's in his system, as soon as he gets back to Earth, he connects up to like the Wi-Fi's and the all that sort of system.
I love that everyone's device. I was like, oh, I just paired with Cyborg. What does that mean? Oh no!
Yeah, death.
I love the idea of a virus that spreads via technology and screens, and that's what dooms humanity, the fact that we're constantly looking at screens. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Matt, you and I would be dead in the first 5 minutes. We ain't making it out of this one, unfortunately.
So within like seconds, like thousands, if not millions, around the metropolis are infected, and Superman finds out, and he rushes home to find Lois and John, who's just about to pick up a phone, his mother's phone, but he doesn't, because his dad blasted it out of his hands.
I like that Damian and John are both little kids in this. I like even Tom Taylor's like, no, that was superior when they were friends and little kids. Let's keep doing this.
See, I know we both know they're little kids, but I had people like getting angry, like literally angry, because John was aged up in this. I'm like, no, he's not. He's still a kid. It's very obvious that he's a kid.
He's wearing underoos,
Yeah.
which I like.
Adults don't wear them.
I like that they're both wearing superhero themed like pajamas, and of course Damian is wearing the Batman ones, and John is wearing the Superman ones. Shit's adorable. And they're playing video games. I like it's just in their downtime. They're playing Injustice.
Yeah.
Damian is swearing online to everyone because, of course, he's, I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. He's hunted them all down. He's hunted New Master 69 down and all those guys.
Damian has very many heated gamer moments, but, you know, when he does it, people end up dead. Which, again, let's talk about Damian here. He gets probably one of my favorite scenes in a long time with Damian that hasn't been written by Tomasi. And it's this idea that he can't ring home. He can't get Batman to pick up the bat phone. And that terrifies him. And like his facade of being this tough, like assassin kid disappears. And he becomes a real little kid for a minute who can't get his parent on the phone.
Yeah, he can't contact Batman through the phone that's meant to work in every situation. And we find out why, because Batman's been tracking this virus, and he learns, his computer tells him that like millions have already been infected and billions will be infected, and he learns that his house is still connected to the system, so he has to
the killer is literally inside the house.
Yeah, he has to EMP bomb the house, but it's too late because Nightwing and Tim Drake are infected.
Which I like the idea that in this universe, Nightwing and Tim Drake live in the mansion.
Yeah,
and then all the Robins live together.
And they're Nightwing and Robin.
Yeah, I like that. I'm like, this is good, Tom Taylor. You're good at alternate universes.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, I'm sure you've noticed, too, that the majority of the characters he works with here are also the characters he worked with the most in Injustice. Black Canary and Green Arrow get a lot to do and a lot to say in the opening.
Yeah, a lot to do, a lot to say about stuff that, like, came up in Injustice as well, about tracking, like, certain heroes and whatnot.
Boy, you know this is an Elseworlds, because fan favorites actually get to stand in front and talk to the big kids.
Yeah, they're part of the Justice League.
Yeah, as it should be, but as it isn't. It's like you read one of those and it's like, oh, Tom, you did this just for me, didn't you?
You're a fan, aren't you?
You're a fan. I like you, Tom. I like you a lot. But yeah, this is just like a real fun, real original concept for a thing. And, like, it could have been really easy for this to be shameless. It could have been really easy for this to just be, like, Marvel Zombies light.
Yeah.
I like that it's not. I like that he's put a lot of thought into this, into what makes his zombies different.
Yeah, and also, it, like, ends with, like, something I personally didn't expect, and that is, like, Batman getting bitten and possibly dying or becoming infected.
Is that how it works? We haven't established our zombie rules yet. Is it Romero rules? If I get bitten, do I turn? What happens?
Yeah, I'm intrigued to find out what happens next issue, and like apparently like it just keeps getting worse and worse, like in terms for like our characters. So I'm looking forward to that.
Down for all of it. And only 6 issues, too. Thank you
Yeah.
for keeping it short. No one keeps
Yeah.
it short anymore.
6 issues, 1 a month.
That's good. I like that. You
Yeah.
respect my time, and I respect you for respecting my time. What was the other new #1 we had this week? Oh, we had the Savage Avengers. They're so savage, man.
They're so savage and edgy. Yeah, they're Marvel's most violent.
We say they're edgy. They're really not, though, because Duggan isn't that kind of writer. Like, they definitely sell it as that. It's like, hey, are you hardcore? Do you drink your extreme Gatorade and eat your extreme Doritos? Well, you're gonna love the Savage Avenger. Then you read and you're like, oh, this is a cool sword and sorcery comic that just happens to have like anti-heroes in it. All right.
That's all it was. It was all set up with getting these like heroes or anti-heroes into like
Conan's world, basically.
Into basically Conan's world and into the vicinity where they will have to team up. But yeah, Conan's in the Savage Land after we last saw him at the end of Avengers No Road Home, and
I love they imply that they just dropped him off there. Like the Avengers, are like, well, we don't know what to do with you, and you're super violent. Go to the Savage Lands, have fun there.
Yeah, go. I like to think they had him in like a cage and they opened it. It's like be free, go Conan, and he like scuttles out into the woods.
You think he's gonna be okay, Scarlet Witch? Craw! I think he's gonna be just fine, Clint.
But yeah, he's been there, like killing his way towards the city of Sickles, which apparently hosts an amulet of great treasure, and of course he wants to steal that amulet. Not sure who he would sell it to or why he would really want it, but
that's every Conan story ever. Yeah. I want treasure. I want loot. I'm the murder hobo of your Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I did that first. I made that cool. I'm Conan. I'm literally this old.
And it brings him into contact with not only the Hand but also Wolverine, who is there tracking Brother Voodoo, who got kidnapped by the Hand.
I love the Wolverine Conan fight. I'm like, really? You're giving this away for free in the first 5 pages? This could be like a whole 6-issue miniseries, Conan versus Wolverine.
Yeah, and I just love how Conan is just like perplexed about how Wolverine just keeps getting up from like swords to the head, the swords being run through him, everything. He just keeps getting up.
Yeah, Conan's like, well, in my world, I've literally never met a person or thing I couldn't kill, so I don't like you.
Yes, he likes Logan of Pabst.
Oh man, that joke got me, because on one hand I'm like, Pabst Blue Ribbon, but on the other hand I'm like, Logan, you are Canadian, you shame your Canuck ancestry drinking an inferior American beer. And then I'm like, well, most Canadian breweries are like owned by American companies these days anyway, so I guess I have to give you a pass.
And it's Logan, he'll drink whatever's on hand.
And Pabst is the cheapest, most available beer ever, so you better believe it.
If this gets me shit-faced, it's good for me.
Milwaukee's favorite, Pabst. He's got Pabst Blue Ribbon on his mind. But yeah, and then, we get introduced to everyone else. Eventually, we got Jericho, Brother Voodoo, who gets kidnapped. Man, poor Brother Voodoo, man. He just bounces around from team to team. He's got a cool name, a cool gimmick, but they can just never get anything working for him.
Yeah, and now he's dead.
And now he's seemingly dead. I mean, he's on the cover, so I don't think he's going to be dead for long, but yeah.
Yeah, so they end up all meeting up there because this cult is trying to bring the Marrow God
Yotan-La.
Yeah, to Earth, and
which is another very suitably Conan thing there.
Yeah,
it's
Well, it might actually be because Conan like mentions he smells something from the Hyborian age there.
It's magic from his world, yeah.
Yeah. So it could very well possibly be something from his world.
And in the back of my mind, I'm like, Thulsa Doom. When are you going to make Thulsa Doom happen?
Yes.
He's the villain. He's the villain people know. When are we going to see two snakes joined as one?
Yeah, when is he going to fight James Earl Jones?
That's all I want. Because, look, he's going to need an arch nemesis, and people know him from the movie. So, yeah. Thulsa Doom is basically Purple Man. I can talk you into doing whatever I want.
Yeah. So yeah, and this cult needs to bring their god about by sacrificing like warriors and strong people and everything. So people like Brother Voodoo, Conan, Wolverine, they're the type. They also get a third one because they bring three coffins to the the guy. And he's like, who the fuck are these? And it's like, these are bait for the most dangerous man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn that most dangerous man in the world is Frank Castle, and the Hand
Yep.
have stupidly grave robbed his family's corpses.
Clearly, those ninjas did not read Garth Ennis's run because a mobster also desecrated their corpses in that series too. It did not end well for them.
They are fucked.
So fucked. Where it's like, how do you get the Punisher involved in this sword and sorcery story? Oh, that's a pretty good reason to get him involved.
I love the push the Punisher's getting recently with this his own series. How everyone seems to want to use him in War of the Realms. Like he's being used like everywhere, like teaming up with Wolverine to go like blow up like frost giants and stuff, blow up the Black Bifrost and all that sort of stuff.
He's getting a War of Realms tie-in series while his own book is going, and he's going to be getting a sequel series to the War of Realms series, the Punisher Kill Crew, because apparently it was so good, we gotta keep going.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's a great time to be a Punisher fan.
And he's in Daredevil too, so like, yeah, you just can't swing a dead mobster without hitting a Punisher story. Frank also loves to spin dead mobsters as to kill other mobsters.
That's his favorite weapon. He joins them with chains and uses them like nunchucks.
They gotta be short though. But yeah, Savage Avengers off to a cool start, as I knew it would be when you're like, okay, here's the team and here's Jerry Duggan. I'm like, all right, then it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, it was a really cool beginning.
Venom is in it, but he's in a cage and doesn't get to say anything.
Yeah. As well, he's in like a very small part of the of it because like he's just in the. They don't reference him. You just see him, there, and you're like, oh, that's Venom.
Because it's Conan who sees him. It's like, I don't know what the hell that thing is.
Yeah, which is brilliant use of that.
Yeah, exactly. Use that to your advantage. The fact that Conan knows nothing about the Marvel Universe.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun exploring
Also,
it through that way.
Also, Elektra is on the team, but she's on the cover and not in the actual issue one. I'm assuming because the Hand are involved, she will eventually be involved because wherever the Hand goes, she's not far behind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was Savage Avengers. Savage Avengers is pretty cool.
It is.
Now, what else do we have here? Ooh. Do we want to talk about Batman 70?
I was just about to say that.
Let's talk about Batman 70, the big beginning of the new storyline, Rise and Fall. Batman's finally out of that stupid dream that took forever.
That stupid dream that took forever that this story thinks something happened in.
Yeah. To which one guy in the comments section was sure to argue with me, being like, no, he went through a bunch of character development, issues 68 and 69. I'm like, what? Coming to the trite, done a billion times, assumption that, I might be addicted to being Batman and that I might always, punish the people around me because of it. He then also said the Tomasi run was crap because, he did a whole thing that was a simulation. No, that one actually had a payoff and a reason. This one went nowhere.
That made sense.
Yeah, but I like that you can't see that. But yeah, so issue 70, he's out. He's out now, and he's ready to fight. And you might think to yourself, we got Maxius Zeus here doing the Greek choir, him working through a gauntlet of villains every page. Oh, this is exactly like the issue with Bane, only Bane was fighting his way inside, and now Batman is fighting his way out, right down to having Maxius Zeus narrate.
Yeah.
And Calendar Man even says, ooh, Batman breaking out of Arkham Asylum. Ooh, we haven't done this a billion times. And I'm like, hey, Tom King, hey, Calendar Man, don't you tell me how predictable and done a million times this story is. That's my job.
It defeats the purpose if you're being meta in the story. It ruins it for us.
Yeah, it ruins the fun if you start lampshading the fact that this has all been done before. He even does it with Riddler too, where Riddler's like, "Ooh, I bet you want to know the answer of why you're here and who did this and what's going on." Batman, no, punch.
Yeah, just knees him in the face and moves on.
I'm like, the series in a nutshell. Answers are stupid. Questions are stupider. And if you ask, you're just asking to get punched in the face by Batman.
Yeah. This felt like a commentary on people like us who pick apart this comic
Absolutely.
for good reason as well.
Absolutely. We are the Riddler. In Tom King's mind, we are the Riddler who ruined his creativity by asking questions and demanding structure and payoff.
Yeah, the structure in a comic that has to connect with other things that's going on in the world, but doesn't want to, for sheer reason that the writer doesn't want to.
This issue was basically like a who's who of all of Tom King's detractors, because he was also sure to talk some mad shit about power scalers too, because like, ooh, how will Batman ever overcome both Solomon Grundy and Amygdala, two of his most physically imposing foes, at the same time on his own? Page skip. He did it in between pages.
Yeah,
That's how.
and then laughs like a mentally insane person.
I'm
What the
glad you
fuck
mentioned
was
that.
that?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I have a theory. So Batman's like, I am the nightmare. You couldn't break me with nightmares because I'm darkness, no parents, absence of light. He basically becomes Lego Batman for a second and then starts laughing like a madman. I'm like, are we supposed to believe that actually the nightmare thing totally worked and it totally broke him and he is insane now? He just doesn't know it.
Well, with that, you need to let the viewer in on that. You need to let the
Yeah.
viewer in on that, so we know, so we're not at the level of Batman, so we can see how he reacts to all of this.
You need like a third party to be like, oh, Batman's acting pretty crazy, but we only have the Arkham inmates who are crazy themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, he's leaving Arkham to go set up his own war. And what one line that really got me really mad was like I can't remember who he was beating up. It was before he decided to beat up Mr. Freeze after we had that story where he didn't want to beat up Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah. Well, no. You see, I went too far and was too emotional in beating him up. Now I'm not emotional at all when I beat up this man, so it's fine. I left my emotions at the door before I beat up this guy.
Yeah, there's this line where like he talks to, I'm not sure which villain it was, where it's like you think I was just gonna like lay down in a ball and let these nightmares like happen. I'm like, yeah, there was like two issues there where like
Where you did just that.
where you didn't want to go, you didn't want to leave or anything, like you
And
did
you
that.
see, and you see, it's in moments like that too where I'm reminded, oh yeah, that's right. Tom King started this series subtly taking the piss out of Batman and having him be like really ineffectual and have Catwoman need to save him and Nightwing needing to save him. Like he spent a whole arc there with Talia al Ghul where he's just bleeding out for 3 issues while Catwoman saves the day. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We haven't seen Tom King like this before, the subtly taking the piss out of Batman to be like, no, he's actually a huge hypocrite though, because he continually says one thing but does another. And then I'm like, oh, do you mean that? Is that intentional? Or did you just not catch that you were contradicting yourself?
Yeah, it's probably he didn't catch himself contrary. It's like, this is a really cool line, I'm gonna write this in.
Tom King's mind is an interesting place because, again, as I mentioned with that Looney Tunes issue from a while back, it's like, it's all a joke to him. Right. See, what we see when we actually get all upset about it, when we like try and dissect it too much, it doesn't matter because Meep, he's not taking it seriously. It's kind of like him gaslighting the comic community, being like, look, my story is so intricate and so deep, and fans will argue about it. And some people will think it's pretentious, and some people think it's brilliant. The fact is, I'm not even really trying, but they'll still fight about it. And they'll, like buy it for the chance to fight about it, and I win no matter what. He's using his CIA brain techniques to set us against each other.
This is the new MK Ultra, the Batman. He's got to like say something on Twitter, and we're all just gonna like stand up and go like kill some like political party member or something.
Exactly. That's
with a Manchurian candidate.
We all are the Manchurian candidates. That's why he's teamed with the greatest artists, because only Gerards and Janice and everyone else, only they can hide the secret MK Ultra messages in every issue.
That was another thing I didn't like about this issue, how it like skipped artist every like 2 pages. Like that just takes me out of the story. I hate that. I want like something consistent, and it would have been really cool if it was consistent, like, because now I think like, oh, he's still in a nightmare because it was different artists through their corresponding villain.
Yeah,
So
that's a thing too, where it's like, oh, so we've been in a dream, but why does awake Batman act exactly like Dream Batman?
yeah, and you need to have that thing where it's like, okay, this artist is going to do the whole issue to like anchor it in reality, basically, and like,
Reinforce it,
and
yeah.
so like, no, this is reality, whereas like Lee Weeks and Tony Daniel and all that were all like the nightmare versions.
We're making a strong statement, Matt, with these artistic choices. I don't know what that statement means, but we're making it.
It means we could get these artists. That's all it fucking means.
Again, too, I was reminded reading this too, because again, you talked about the shifting art to a King book I did like, and what's art gimmick I actually really enjoyed was the first issue of Mr. Miracle, where
Mm.
every page in that has a different bit of color theory attached to it. For those who studied art and know color theory, it's like, oh, here it's all shaded in blue because it's really sad, and here everything's in a green haze because it might be a dream, it might not be reality. It's to reflect his own sickness. So it's like, dude, you can do this. We know you can do it, and have it make sense. You just choose not to sometimes.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very
And
strange.
and then you hear Tom King on Twitter being like, "Oh, and I'm already working on my next 12 issue, maxi series," which is obviously what he's famous for and what he's gotten the work for and everything and what people are really excited about. So I'm like, why don't you just go do that then? Because clearly that's where your mind is and
Yeah,
that's what you want to do and that's what the readers want you to do. Why do I have to read 30 more issues of your Batman?
yeah. Go work on whatever that TV show is you're working on. Like, do
Yeah.
that. Do your minis. Do your maxis. Do all that. Just give someone else an actual ongoing that knows what they're doing and isn't like taking the piss out of the character and not like celebrating it.
Yeah. Again, I bet you money when his 100 issues is done, if his TV show takes off and he ends up going to Hollywood, give it a couple years and we will hear an interview from Tom King being like, yes, the comic readers were not ready for me. They did not understand my genius. They did not appreciate me in my time, unlike film people. That's gonna happen.
That's gonna have. Well, it's gonna people who actually read his books and like them already say that about his
Yeah.
Batman book. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they massaged his ego or something.
Again, I like Vision. I like Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, they're
He
really
is
great.
he is not a hack writer, but he is a writer who was celebrated way too much, way too quickly, way too early in his career. And because of that, I think he's creatively stunted because he's basically been telling the same story over and over
Yeah,
again
yeah,
since Vision.
yeah. All these books have been about the same topics. They're not. It would have been fine if they were about the same topics, but different like subtopics in that, like looked at
Yeah.
it from a different way, but they never
Like
do.
you could argue the same thing about Grant Morrison. The Grant Morrison has been writing about the same things for years. It's like, yeah, but he disguises it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So much better. So much
Yeah,
better.
like again, you can throw that at a lot of writers. It's like, he's just been writing the same material. I'm like, yeah, but you gotta disguise it a little better. And again, maybe he'll learn to do that as he gets older. Because again, Batman is his first ongoing. This is his first thing that's ever made it this many issues.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have gotten such a green writer, or maybe you should have at least given him a co-writer, like with Grayson, another book I really enjoyed because it was Tim Seeley driving the car and Tom King picking the music.
Yeah.
Let Tom King or let Tim Seeley drive again.
Yeah, please.
Is all I'm asking. Let him let him drive the car. What else did we have, Matt? After that,
We had Justice League issue 23.
we did. I just read this before we started.
Yeah, this was really cool issue.
It was lots of interesting ideas where it's like, so we're in a world created by the World Forger that's like the real world, but not quite because, these are all people who were like left over every time the World Forger tried to make a perfect world where the Justice League wins, over the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, yeah, and they're all led by Lois Lane of like one of the first ever worlds made.
Yeah, yeah.
Who has survived all of these worlds and has become like this bitter, hardened woman,
Warden.
who's the warden of this prison, and she hates that she has to see like all these supermen die as well as her son die, over and over again because of what Superman has done.
Yeah, they're saying that, the only reason that, the world cannot be saved is that because in all these different versions of all these different worlds, Superman's morality, his moral compass wouldn't allow him to agree to the World Forger's deal, being like, look, to stop Doom, you have to kill everyone who's like genetically predisposed to, wanting to side with Doom.
Yeah, his complete need for being a hero like was a detriment this time, basically.
Yeah, where it's like there was no good, no win scenario, but Superman wouldn't see it that way, and that's, what costs Earth every time.
Yeah, which is why the World Forger locked him in his own sort of little universe, which Batman learns about this issue because it comes down to Batman basically to choose like to be the leader and choose like do they side with the World Forger and change the world over where with the Crisis Anvil.
I love that the crisis is an anvil, and every time the world grows too out of control, or the cosmic judges, he's talking about readers, we're the cosmic judges. Whenever we're bored or don't judge a universe favorably enough, we gotta hit the crisis anvil.
Yeah, we're headed to they're headed to the shores. They're headed to the which is the end of the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like will the anvil ring out at that? And it is really well set up. I like that the idea of that like what Mixel Spitlick is doing on Earth is tying back into this, where he's unmaking reality, and when he gets to a certain point, the cosmic anvil, the crisis anvil appears, and the World Forger can then sort of hit it and change the sixth dimension with the Prime universe and sort of like switch it over, and then hopefully they won't notice the time difference.
The actual mechanics of it are really interesting and really intelligent, and I really take my hat off to Snyder for this, to like basically do a story about crises without doing a crisis.
Yeah.
And to also pin it on like the Batman Superman rivalry, which I've never been a fan of, but here it makes sense. Where he's like, no, most universes end with you, Batman and Superman. You're the last two. Why do you think you have six-dimensional imps?
Yeah.
Because you're that important, and now I'm going to give you the power to decide, Batman, and I'm giving it to you because I know you're the one who would make the hard choice.
Yeah.
And seemingly Batman screws Superman over at the end of this story.
Yeah. He puts the sun too far away from the orbit, so Superman loses his powers and is trapped in the void.
And I mean, this is Batman, so like he's got to have like a plan B there. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna move the sun back later. I just had to know how to do it.
Yeah. Or he knew Superman would be coming, would have found a way off there already or something. Or was on the way or something.
Or because the World Forger said, this Superman actually got closer to escaping that prison than anyone else because he's the Prime Universe Superman, and that changes things.
Yeah.
And maybe by doing it, this will make Superman even stronger.
Yeah, possibly. Make him the old Golden Age one where he's like balancing planets on his head and whatnot.
Maybe so, and maybe Batman's like, no, I knew you needed to be stronger. This was your training montage. This was your Rocky moment, Superman. You had to get swole and do a bunch of crunches before you could come back and help us fight the World Forger. I do like how the World Forger's like, no, man, I'm not totally evil.
No, yeah, well, no, that it's definitely not evil. Like they have a plan to save the universe. It's just not the way that like Superman and all the other heroes like wanted to do it.
It's the antithesis to heroic plans.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate in the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah.
Taken to that level. But yeah, Justice League continues to be great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, we didn't talk about War of Realms yet. That also came out this week.
Yeah, this was we actually had a bunch of like the tie-ins and stuff, and I
did.
I was a little bit behind and I went back and read most of those tie-ins.
See, I got to do that. I only read the main one, number 3.
Yeah, number 3. Really cool. It was like they got to go on an adventure to find Thor. In Jotunheim, while a group go to destroy the Black Bifrost on Svartalfheim.
It's strangely paced, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, all these stories are going to be getting tie-ins, but we're also going to move them forward in the main book. I'm like, well, that's unexpected.
Not only that, move them forward in like a big way, like move them forward more than I thought. Because I thought like originally, because I knew they were going to be setting up in this book. I thought like, okay, we're going to get them set up. They're going to like fight on Earth for a little bit, and then they're going to realize what they need to do. And the end of the book is going to usher them off into their respective tie-ins. But this book is
Hmm.
like, no, the Steve's team makes it to Jotunheim and then follows the river
They complete their
of
mission.
frost. Yeah, and then complete. I thought that was going to be their mission. They get there and then they've got to cross like the frozen wastes to get there
Mm.
and all that sort of stuff. And then the same with Frank Castle's team where he infiltrates Svartalheim. I thought they were going to like cut it off there and send it off in their tie-ins where it's kind of like Vietnam or something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you read their time, it actually takes place all before their actual
Yeah,
mission.
yeah. It's very strange.
Very. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's places they can go with it where it's like, okay, now they've completed their missions, but how are they going to get back to Earth? Because we've seen that Daredevil was made the new God without fear. He was
Hmm.
given, Heimdall's power, but he only had it for a couple minutes because they still blew up Asgard anyway.
Yeah, they still managed to blow up Asgard and the Rainbow Bridge, which
Which means
means
all our heroes are trapped behind enemy lines.
they're trapped behind enemy lines, and then Freya realizes they need the Black Bifrost now, so they can't destroy it yet.
Yeah, they gotta try and take that over. I'm like, all right, I can dig it.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting, and as well as like making it weirdly paced, it probably didn't help that like every couple of pages would like show us like one little of like what's happening in Atlantis, what's the
Mm.
Fantastic Four up to, that sort of stuff.
I mean, I like those in retrospects, but it's like,
Yeah,
well, if
yeah.
that was important, give them a tie-in.
Yeah, or like make him a little bit more, give him a little bit more in the book.
Yeah, give a little more beef. I want more beef with this.
Yeah.
Speaking of beef and speaking of a good tie-in, Champions #5 was a War of Realms tie-in this week.
Was it?
Yes, it was the big return of Cyclops, actually.
Ooh, nice.
Because if you'll recall, when Mark Waid started this book, young time displaced Cyclops was basically their impromptu leader, because obviously he's been leading young super teams his whole life, so he was the ideal leader.
Yeah, yeah.
The idea is that him and Havoc and a bunch of the other X-Men are trapped in New York. Still, the X-Men didn't get to tag along with all the other heroes when they went to Asgard.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're doing everything they can to like defend people, like in Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like they're like heat blasting, frost giants that come too close to the stadium. And the champions are going around because they have a new teleporter, trying to give like supplies and stuff to them
Mm-hmm.
so they can like wait out the night. And when one of the kids says the champions are in trouble, they are fighting trolls in Australia because the trolls have decided to claim Australia for themselves.
Yep.
And Cyclops hears about this and he's like, oh shit, the champions are in trouble. My team needs me.
Mm-hmm.
Because older Cyclops inherited the memories of his younger counterparts, so he totally remembers the time he spent there.
Yeah.
And that blows Kamala Khan's mind because she's like, whoa, that's not usually how it works though. And he's like, yeah, I know, weird, right? Trust me, when you're an X-Men long enough, you just get used to this crazy crap. And she's having an interesting story too, because through one reason or another, she's lost all the founding members of the Champions. It's just her now.
Oh, okay.
Miles is dealing with the deal he made with the devil. Amadeus Cho has gone off to join the Agents of Atlas, a book that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, will come out this week, I think.
Will come out this week. Nadia Pym is dealing with a bipolar breakdown. Riri and Viv have disappeared after their awkwardness, and Sam is back out in space trying to get his helmet back.
Nice, nice.
So Kamala's all alone with a fresh, untrained team. And it ends with some really great advice that Cyclops gives her as a leader and being like, hey, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. It's not going to get easier.
Yeah, okay.
It's only going to get worse. You're going to have psychic affairs, and then the Phoenix Force is going to jump into you, and they're going to call you a terrorist, but no one's going to write you as a bad guy for years, and Wolverine will be more popular. But I trust you, Kamal, and I trust the champions, and I know you're going to come out on the other side of this okay. And I'm like, oh, I miss good guy Cyclops. Oh, good guy Cyclops, like a warm glove. Remember good guy Cyclops? It feels like it's literally been decades since we've had him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, have you seen my Jim Lee costume? Isn't it nice? Isn't it much nicer than the brown thing Wolverine is wearing? Yeah, I agree. But yeah, Champions is fun. There is one big continuity problem, though.
Yeah.
So Miles is dealing with the deal he made with the devil, and it's really messing him up. And he's in Abu Dhabi, right? Because that's where the shit went down. And he sees the Frost Giant invasion on television.
Yep.
Now, why does that not make sense, Matt?
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Because in the McElroy book, Miles was
Yeah.
there when Malekith's army touched down.
But
Uh-oh.
that's like the biggest like discontinuity error of this, and like that the books so far have been really good at like keeping it all. That's pretty big.
Jim
I
Zub
haven't
especially
read Champions yet, so yeah, I didn't know that. Ooh,
Jim Zub especially is really, really good at keeping track of canon. And
yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty huge one. And I don't know who messed up on that one. Was that the McElroys maybe stretching their celebrity muscle a little bit and being like, we want to write about Miles? But them being like, but Zub, well, okay, but you know, because yeah, that's a pretty big mess up right there to have him be in two places at once.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, and again, you can't even say where it's like, well, he was in Abu Dhabi after his adventures in the McElroy book, and that's like, nope, nope, that can't possibly be because he's watching it on TV.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, not great.
Wow, okay.
But that aside, though, that wasn't really what the book was about. It was still pretty solid all the same.
Cool.
What else did we have? I think that's almost it for me. I think that's almost everything I read this week.
Yeah, I had another War of the Realms tie-in. I had the Uncanny X-Men one.
Oh yeah, how was this one? Because I didn't read that
Yeah,
one.
well, this one featured Cyclops as well.
Oh, is he busy?
Yeah, this is the older Cyclops who can't use his powers because he lost his eye.
Okay, see, because he had bandages in the Champion book, and I didn't fucking know what that was about.
Yeah, he got shot in the eye by Hope, and Beast couldn't save the eye, so now he can't use his powers properly.
Is Hope still evil? Is she's still a
No,
hound?
no, she's got like the scars on her, but
Right.
she's not. She actually appears in this book. So Scott is like leading this team, but he can't use his powers. So he's leading his team with Danny Moonstar and Multiple
Love her.
Man, Wolfsbane, all that to fight Orphan Maker, and
Hmm.
and the egg person named Nanny. Real Z-list fucking villains. And
Are they working with Malekith?
no. This is before War of the Realms actually
Oh,
starts. They're doing that, and they're completely messing up the fight. Like they're getting each other's way and everything. And then Danny just suddenly leaves with magic,
oh
and they're
no.
like, "Where the fuck is she going?" Like they eventually stop the villains, and then Magic returns and says that Danny needs their helps, and she teleports them to New York, where War of the Realms is in full scale battle mode and everything.
Right.
Danny obviously was a Valkyrie, so she got called into battle.
That's right. I forgot about that. Nice continuity, guys.
She heard Odin's call. Why she couldn't just tell the team she heard it? Because it's set up like she hears it mid battle and then just like disappears straight away. Why couldn't she just say, "Hey guys, something happened in New York. Go"?
Well, I assume it's one of those things where it's like when you get cold, it's like when you get your Green Lantern ring. You don't get to decide when you get cold, but that's just me.
Yeah, so they end up going there and they need to find her because she's gone missing. They don't know where. But they end up fighting a bunch of elves and trolls, and they end up meeting up with Banshee and Hope and her team, who, when they are together, they end up getting separated from Wolfsbane and Jamie, and Scott and Hope end up clashing because obviously they're family, but obviously
Yeah.
Hope shot him in the face, and there's
It's a thing that happened.
yeah, a bit of bad blood between the two. Uh, Scott is his usual anal retentive self and wants to just
It's
protect the
true.
team, doesn't want to do anything dangerous, all that sort of stuff. Whereas Hope goes gung hoing in, and yeah, it leaves the two teams separated, and they learn that maybe all of the Valkyries are dead now.
Which we know that absolutely happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Oops. Which, oh no, does that mean they killed Danny off panel? That's unfortunate.
It's not made clear. It's not made clear. No.
I hope they didn't. I like Danny Moonstar. I always thought she was a really underrated character.
Yeah.
But what is it with me and my love of archers? Green Arrow and his family of characters, Danny Moonstar. Apparently, if you just have a bow and arrow, I just love you.
You have to be a bit more you have to like get up to everyone else's game, and when it's someone with a bow is able to like take down gods and whatnot, it's pretty
That's
impressive.
Again, I like Hawkeye and Kate Bishop too, actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there you go. So is that it for you, Matt? Was that everything you read this week?
I got one more book. It's technically two, but I'll talk about the one, and that's the Green Lantern issue 7.
Oh yeah, the Morrison thing that's still going on.
Yeah, so last issue, in issue 6, he ended up stopping Controller Mu and the Black Stars by they had like a U bomb, and they were going to blow up the whole universe if they couldn't get their way.
Naturally.
The bomb was going to go off, so Hal used all of his willpower and all the willpower in the central battery to stop it, and in doing so, everyone thinks he's dead. Everyone, because there was no trace of him left or anything, and what actually happened was he got sucked into the ring. And he's trapped.
Interesting.
He's trapped. It's really interesting because this ring isn't Abin Sur's ring, so this shouldn't actually be happening. But he gets sucked in there, and he meets the villain, a villain of Abin Sur's name, Merwidden. He's basically like a leprechaun.
It's more Golden Age weirdness.
Yeah, and the last time we saw that villain was like in the 60s or something, where like Abin Sur trapped him in the ring. And it shouldn't work because this ring is Hal Jordan's ring, not Abin Sur's ring, and hasn't been for a long time.
Yeah, well, Morrison didn't read that.
But yeah, this issue, he's trapped in here and he doesn't know who he is. Like, Hal doesn't know who he is, and he's going through like this, the Emerald Sands as they're called, and he ends up meeting this woman who is very clearly a stand-in for Carol Ferris. Very clear. As well as like the artist Liam Sharp makes it clear on Twitter as well. It's meant to sort of be like her, and she like guides him through this strange world. It's very Morrison world. The paneling as well is not like any other comic I've seen. It's they have normal speech bubbles, but a lot of it's written on the actual page, like not in bubbles or anything.
Right.
And yeah, Hal eventually learns who he is, what he was, what happened to him, and he's got to try and get out of the ring. And the Lanterns outside in the actual world are trying to help him as well. Like, they learn he's inside the ring, and they're trying to like unminiaturize him.
Right.
And yeah, it's about him sort of finding himself again and learning.
Those are always good.
Learning a bit more about himself in the process and stuff like that, and as well as like learning a bit more about Carol, or not Carol. Yeah, but it was a great damn book. So
that's good. I know issue 1 of that series kind of, scared me off. And I'm like, well, I don't know a lot about Green Lantern. And it seems that he's ignoring a lot, too, so I don't know.
We were talking about Grant Morrison, how he disguises all this stuff. And he does it so well because he disguised all of this in a police procedural. Like, the whole Black Stars thing was Hal going undercover in the Black Stars and all that sort of stuff, and questioning his morality and everything.
And what if I did a story about a drug trip where I got to know myself a lot better? But great, you've done that several times. All right, but what if you went inside his ring, though, eh? What
if it was a cop procedural?
But what if it was a cop procedural then? It's different. But isn't like the Invisibles and a bunch of other stuff you done basically cop spy procedures? But it's the Green Lantern Corps. They won't know.
Yeah, it's not in space.
It's not in space. But I didn't do it in space before I did it. I did it in alternate universes. I did it in alternate 1960s, but I didn't do it in space. Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's so good.
Yeah, it sounds like people were super gung ho about it, then they stopped talking about it at a point.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of them didn't realize who Grant Morrison were. I think a lot of them were picking up because it's a new new Green Lantern #1. Then like, oh,
and it's his first like comic in a long time.
Yeah,
like for DC, his first superhero in a long time. And also, if you've been reading like Green Lantern from like Jeff Johns to like now, chances are you've come to expect a certain thing, and like they've all followed from each other.
Oh yeah, this is completely different from like Green Lanterns or Hal Jordan on the Green Lantern Corps. It's completely another animal.
All right, let's take all that Jeff Johns stuff. Let's just put it away for a little bit. let's just put it over here. And then he just takes out a whole big box called Golden Age Weirdness. All right, let's dig into this Golden Age
and
weirdness.
It's just like you open it and it's just like a pile of cocaine.
Good. And what if Green Lantern fought God?
But what if God was just like Sun Eater, like disguised
Yeah,
as God.
yeah, I'd be okay with that. All right, then. So I don't think we're going to be able to top that one, everyone. So I guess it's time to start bringing the show to a close.
Yeah.
Want to thanks everyone so much for listening. If you're a patron, sorry you got this a day late. Couldn't be helped. I try and be as punctual as humanly possible. Yeah, this was a shitty week, but I'm glad Matt and I finally got to do the show. I hope you like it. As always, it goes up Wednesday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for everyone else. You can follow us on Patreon if you want to get that first. We usually try and put that up as soon as it's done. SoundCloud Thursday, the day after, where you can listen and download and do everything else.
Yep.
And then iTunes as well. So, lots of places you can listen to the show, carry it around with you if you are so inclined. Really appreciate it, when you give us likes and comments and everything, because that drives engagement, and we need that.
Yes.
And, anything else to plug, Matt? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, not really, no.
Well, alrighty then. In that case, everyone, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back again. Same comic multiverse time, same comic multiverse place. Until then, everyone, I bid you goodbye.
Bye, everyone.